I never like to say presidents lie. I like to say they're examples of huge cognitive dissonance. How's that, okay? But they knew 50 to 75% would be canceled. Other parts of the story say that some thought 80% would be canceled. That jives with our consultants who have told us on the air that as many as 14 to 16 million people lose their insurance. Why doesn't the president fess up to that?
I have a hard time wrapping my head around those numbers. They just don't sound right to me. I mean, we know for a fact that 85% of Americans have health insurance right now. So we're talking about, what's that, 255 million people with health insurance? Now, if you're talking about, say, 10 or 14 million who have plans that don't measure up to the standards of Obamacare, you know, these plans do have to meet a certain level of care.
But it's a change. You have to change your insurance.
Then you have to change your insurance.
He looked straight at the camera, Jimmy P. He looked straight at the camera. I don't know how many times this has been played over and over again. If you like your insurance policy, you can keep it. And if you like your doctor, you can keep it. This shows that was not true.
It was absolutely a key selling point. So are we talking about incompetence? Are we talking about mendacity? Are we talking about arrogance? Because, you know what, I don't think the president and the White House, and maybe not Jared either, I think they really don't care, because their attitude is, listen, you know, these are better plans, really. We know what's best for you. You liked your other plan? Well, you shouldn't have liked your other plan, and we're doing you a favor. You just don't get it.
Oh, McRoy, do these numbers make sense to you? Jared says they're too big. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it makes sense for the market for people who shop for coverage on their own, or what's called the individual or non-group market. In the employer-based market, there will be disruption. It won't be massive, crazy 70% disruption. It'll be more like 30%, 25% disruption. So the employer-sponsored market, there'll be some disruption. And if you want to know what the answer is, just ask labor unions. Labor unions are saying that the plans that they offer to their employees or get from employers in multi-employer health plans the costs are being driven to unsupportable levels, and that's because of Obamacare.
But, Ovik, let me ask you something. You're saying these numbers may not apply to the individual market. We just had a big story yesterday from the L.A. Times, okay? Now the results are coming in California. Premiums going up 25, 30%. But here's the key point. I want everyone to comment on this. People are jamming into Medicaid. Medicaid is the ultimate winner in this sweepstakes. It's going to cost a fortune. It was not budgeted properly, and Medicaid is actually the least of all the insurance plans, Ovik. What's up with that?
Yeah, so the way Obamacare was designed is of the 30 million people who are supposed to get new health coverage under the law, half of that is under Medicaid and half of that is under the exchanges. The numbers have changed a little bit since then because a number of the states have opted out of the Medicaid expansion. But in general, the exchanges in theory should provide a better insurance product than Medicaid. Medicaid's health outcomes are terrible because you really don't have access to a doctor if you get the Medicaid card, because a lot of doctors don't take Medicaid. But with the exchanges, the biggest problem is the government is saying the plans have to cover all these different things. Nice. They have to charge the same rates to the healthy and the sick, and that doubles the cost of the insurance for a lot of people.
See, Jared, when you put in the Medicaid piece, all of a sudden these numbers start adding up. And, and this is something that nobody in the White House or the administration has talked about, is what's going to happen to Medicaid, which, Jimmy P., I think is in the worst shape of any of our entitlements, likely to go bankrupt, yes. And now it's likelier to go bankrupt with this national.
I think you have the Medicaid story really pretty wrong here, because of the Supreme Court decision, there's actually going to be fewer people with Medicaid coverage than we initially thought, because some states are opting out. Everyone expected that people up to a certain level of income, actually about 138% of the poverty rate, will be eligible for Medicaid in states that took that option, and that's a good thing. I very much disagree with you.
It is a good thing if you don't care about, if you only care about on a piece of paper saying you have access to health care. In reality, in the reality-based community, if you actually want those people to have access to good health care and good doctors, then Medicaid is not such a great program.
What
did the Oregon study say about the health care outcomes? Zero. There was no difference.
Jimmy, I've worked with people on Medicaid in New York City. If you're a low-income person, a Medicaid card is a gold card in terms of your insurance.
What was the difference?
That's not what the New England Journal of Medicine says.
People with Medicaid and people there was no difference in those key health care metrics. None.
Yeah, I agree with that. But those people had comprehensive health care coverage, which they would not have had in the absence of